Alright guys, what's up? This is GS Streams bringing you our first StarCraft 2 video of our team member, I guess you would say, Powoo. Our new channel is GongShowStarcraft. We'll bring you videos almost daily of us playing or some other players playing, like High Masters players or some people like that we know. And so spawning at the bottom left is the red Zerg player, Powoo. And spawning at the bottom right is the blue Protoss player, Cepteel. And this game is on 2x speed because it is way too long. And a lot of good mana going on right now. And we see Powoo hiding a drone back here behind the middle line just to go for that 15 hatch, but he doesn't want that probe to scout it and deny him that. And so he does get it as soon as the probe goes up into the main. And when the probe does scout around and see that there's nothing there, he will go on down to the natural and see that there is a hatchery there and that he is played. And we do see the Protoss player Cepteel going off for a wall off with a Zealot and a Gateway and a Cybernetic Core, which is pretty standard for a Protoss versus Zerg. But it probably would have been better to go for a Forge Fast Expand. And that's where you place the pylon right here, place a forge, maybe a cannon, a gateway, whatever else you want to throw them off a little bit. Just make a wall, and you usually take your natural with a forge fast. You would have to take your natural as a forge fast. I don't know why you wouldn't, but anyways, looks like the hatch is up for Powoo, and there's a lot of drones down there now. So the queen's on their way. He did get the gas, so he's going for link speed right now, getting a second gas, so we should see roaches here in the next few minutes or so. No big deal. And there's the Nexus. He is going to go for, I guess, like a 1 gate, almost 2 gate fast expand. He just now got us 2 gate up, so I don't know what that'd be technically called. And we do see a Zealot, Stalker, and Sentry. Looks like the Stalker had a little bit of a fight with that Overlord. Would have been a huge game changer for him, because if he would have killed that Overlord early on, would have supply blocked Powoo, and he would have had to wait and waste another 100 minerals instead of getting drones with that new Overlord. And so Warp Gate is done. We see a 3rd gate on the way. We see Blink being researched out of the Twilight Council, and he might opt into High Templar DT's late game. So 3 gate Twilight Council is what we're seeing, and we see Powoo with the Roach warring up. Does have about 10 roaches out on the field right now, going in for maybe a hit. Either that or he's just going to keep the Protoss in his base. And so we should see late game Hydras into Spire maybe for Powoo. That's usually what Zerg does. Maybe even Broodlords if we're lucky. And we see Powoo getting dominated by those force fields. But he does get up in there, and he does get the surround on those lings. Does kill off a lot of units, but there are a lot of stalkers up, and they do have blink, so the blink micro will be there. And this batch of roaches is kind of in trouble. They're going to take out the pylon just to get by. Will be good for them, but he does place another pylon just to be a little bit tricky, but does end up killing a lot of probes and almost all these stalkers, and does manage to take out 1 gateway, maybe even 2. It's a very low health, and there goes it's down. So he does want to pull out now because that was a successful hit for Powoo, and goes back to the Zelnaga. I don't think Cepteel was expecting that, and Cepteel might move out for a hit. That or just trying to chase down those few lings. Oh, and yep, there he goes, the watchtower, and Powoo will engage this with the blink micro. He just blink him back, and he will try to run off. And so Powoo does get the run does get the surround since he can't blink anymore until a few seconds later. So he decides to pull out for now, and Powoo still getting roach ling. Definitely good choice because those roaches and lings do a crazy amount of damage together. And here comes the minor engagement, but Cepteel does end up taking all those roaches out. And Powoo actually having a lot of lings up, placing 3 more spines at his natural, so he will be able to hold this. And here comes Cepteel moving in, and does almost snipes 1 spine, very close to dying. but he didn't want to lose any more stalkers. Checking for a third for Powoo, because that's usually what Zerg does. They usually get a third if they see that their Protoss opponent has got a second. Zerg usually has to be one base up against a opponent. And so we see Powoo moving out, making, whoa, Banelings, about 20 Banelings. Definitely good against Stalkers, because Stalkers are kind of weak against Banelings. So if those Banelings were to get a good hit on those Stalkers, it will be taking a lot of damage. Yeah, he took out like 4 Stalkers there, I would say. Oh, and here comes Powoo, maybe for the engagement, taking out the proxy pylon, maybe going in for a hit right here. Oh, maybe just playing peekaboo a little bit. Oh, here comes the hit. The Baneling's doing a massive amount of damage. And pulling off probes just to absorb some damage for these Stalkers, but looks like the Stalkers might be able to clean this up. Ling's coming up. Ling's going down to the low ground. Oh, he blinks back up to the high ground. And here comes... Whoa, the Ling's doing a lot of damage to these Stalkers. Going to kill off a lot of these probes as well. A lot of these probes. And Ling's running up into the main just to deal damage to the mineral line. And does do just that, doing a lot of damage. And down here, the Lings are still being rallied in, but the Zealots will force them out and clean it up, and he will be moving up. Oop, there were a couple of Zealots being warped in and cleaned up to the top as well. But he did take a lot of hits. 40 workers killed for Powoo. That puts him very far ahead of his opponent, even though he only has 27 workers himself. So he's only 7 workers ahead, but he's taken out 40 workers of Cepteels. Very good job by Powoo using everything he has to do that. Actually has Hydras now, so he did take up the Hydras. Maybe even a Spire late game. He does have a lot of gas. And we do see Lings coming in, and they do kill off 1 Stalker. So good trade, a couple Lings for a Stalker. We do see High Templar morphing into Archon, so he will not be getting Storms, which I think he should. Storms would be pretty good at this point. Here comes another engagement by Powoo. He's got a lot of Lings, a couple Banelings, and a couple Hydras. But I think this force of Cepteels will be able to hold it back. He does have a lot of Zealots, but the Zealots do take a lot of damage from those Banelings as well. About killing 3 or 4 Zealots. Whew. That was a big hit for Cepteel. And there's actually Hydras back at the main of Powoo, so he's going to be rallying them in. And here comes Cepteel out for a push. But Powoo's going to meet up with his Hydra army. And Cepteel does take a lot of damage from those Banelings, but the Hydra's actually just cleaning everything up, because Hydras clean up Protoss Warp Gate units. And there is a Archon caught morphing, and here is the GG. Well played from Cepteel. Powoo has won this game. They were both high diamond, and so it was a good game. And I would like for you all to rate, subscribe, and comment on this video, as well as like it. Thank you all for watching. We'll be doing future videos, so stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time.